So you've downloaded the source code. Make sure you right click on the compressed folder and unblocked the libraries. Now you've opened the solution in Visual Studio. First thing you're going to need to do is add a reference. Go browse and then go to C, Program Files x86, Telerik, Windows Phone, binaries. The two you're going to need for this project: core and primitives. Select them both and add them to the project. Once they're added, go ahead and build the solution. First thing I'm going to do is take a look at the first password box. If you notice, I hard-coded the visibility of the action button, the clear button, and the peek button. By default, these two are collapsed and this one's visible. So let's run this and see what it looks like. Okay, this first password box, you notice the visibility for everything is there. These two don't start showing up until you actually type. So without anything there, it doesn't use up space in the UI. Let's take a peek. Okay, let's go back to the code. What if I were to take these out? Let's run it again. Now you notice the action button isn't there anymore. By default it's hidden. Start typing. The clear button is gone. The only thing that's visible by default is the peek button. So let's add these back in. And take a look at the second one. In the second box, instead of hard coding in the values, what I've done is I've created a converter that'll change a bool value to a visibility. Let's take a look at the converter. All this does is it takes a bool and returns a visibility object. Now in the view model, I have 3 bools. In the code behind, what I do during the button click is for both password boxes, I change the visibility to the 2 different methods. This one changes the visibility of the password box directly. And this statement is simple. If it's false, set to true. If it's true, set to false. Same goes for the view model. If the value in the view model is false, it'll set it to true. If it's true, it'll set it to false. And I'll repeat this procedure for the clear button and the peek button. So you see how I bind it to the 3 different values in the view model directly, and use the converter to change the bool to a visibility object. Let's run this again. Now I'm going to get rid of those. Change the peek button visibility. You notice the peek button's gone. Same goes down here. The peek button is gone as well. Okay, now that we've played with the visibility properties of the different buttons, let's take a look at password character property. This property here lets you set what the masking character is for your password character. The character typed into this password box, and they hit the action button, use an action button tap event. The action button tap event will take the character that's in the password box, then parse it into the correct type, which is of type character. I assign that to the view model. Then we take that and we bind it directly to the property. We could do it directly. How would we do it directly? Instead of assigning it here, can do this. Let's see how this works. And that's it. Now let's take a look at the max length property. This just sets the amount of characters you can put in. So I set the max length on the second password box to only let the user type in 1. If there was more than one character, this binding would break down and we'd get an exception. Why? Because when we try to assign more than one character into this object, you'd get an exception here. This concludes my brief demonstration of RadPasswordBox. For more advanced topics, such as editing the control template and applying custom styling, send me an email and I'll prepare you a tutorial. Take 2. For more advanced topics, such as custom styling and take 3.